What's up, guys? Welcome to the latest Chillporeal, and we have the one, the only, the first time as a puppet on this channel, Punkwaddle. What's up?
It's hold on.
Oh, is it
I'm
something?
in.
Is it something I said? I can change.
No, it was the fact that I, like an unprofessional YouTuber, had the stream in another window and trying to cancel out the echo on my own, on my end, and realized that instead of canceling it out, I put it in a whole new other window, and I've got these flippers when I'm trying to show on the stream. I botched that intro terribly after that wonderful intro you put together for me. It's great to be here.
It's good to have you. It's good to finally have you. We're probably one of the oldest. We're the oldest pals on YouTube. Like, I mean, you're one of the first people that's ever really graced my channel and been a supporter and all that. So I really appreciate you. But before we even go any further, I want to say hello to the chat we have. So we have David Glenn here, Culture Ray. What's up, David? And we got Keely Chow. And then we got Pop Culture Mechanic. It's been a while since I've been able to make a Nerdporial stream. Well, you're always welcome. And we have Jacob Ironside. What's up, Jacob?
Hey.
So Punkwaddle. I mean, I'm just curious. So, you start off as an avatar, and then you became a puppet. So, just tell us how you evolved. Like, is it like Pokemon where you had to level up and earn experience points? How's that go?
That's a great question. So, I mean, let's face it. I did exist before YouTube, right? And there were times in my, let's call it, avatar existence, my goofiness. I mean, you guys have heard all my puns, and sometimes they land and sometimes they're terrible.
I haven't heard a terrible one yet.
Well, I never land because I can't fly.
That's the reality of being a penguin.
Yeah. See, I needed that badum tisk, but I need a soundboard. You hear me? So
we hear you.
Yeah. Well, that's good. So here's the thing. I remember people telling me back in my old Avatar days, like, you're kind of like a puppet, right? And so I was like, yeah, I get. I'm kind of a little goofy. If I was animatronic, I might be at Five Nights at Freddy's, Chuck E. Cheese back then, right?
So,
So
showbiz
yeah.
pizza. We're going old school, dude.
Oh yeah. So, and
I might go see the movie. I've heard mixed things. I've heard some negative stuff from some people, and I've heard positive stuff from people I would not expect to hear positive stuff from.
I still need to watch that one that Nick Cage was in that was kind of like Five Nights, but like the unofficial B-side version. Like Willy's Wonder House or something. Somebody in the chat will correct me because that sounds like it's not for kids. I digress. So
is it true? Did you just fly in from New York City? New York City?
No, I would never go to New York City and eat their salsa. No.
Okay, so you got the reference. You got the reference. That's awesome.
Oh yeah. I mean, we could talk about all the advertisements too, right? So anyway, yeah, they said, hey, you're kind of like a puppet, and so thought about it. Then there was that movie, with Jason Segel and Jim Parsons, and it was like, I'm a Muppet of Man, or maybe Manly Muppet. I was like, I'm not really sure which one I am. Then YouTube came around, and like all you guys, I started hanging out in the chats. Started hanging out on this channel. This very channel was the very first time I became a mod. Speaking my mind, people said, "Hey, keep talking." So I did. And well,
I think you made your debut actually. Yeah, you're right. You did make it. I think when I had my first live stream, I think you joined it.
Yeah, I did. And back then,
I was scared. Like, I had no idea how to lead a live stream or anything. Like, if you put me in front of the classroom to do a speech, I'll freeze. That was
me too. ironically, in college when I had to take speech, I was told that the best speech I did was when I talked about my bass guitar, which is actually, if you were around back then, was the bass guitar. That was my very first avatar.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I think I remember that. Yeah.
yeah. We called it the penguin bass because it had a little bow tie on it,
Mm-hmm.
and I played with that. That was my crutch, if you will.
Can you read? Can you read sheet music? Can you read bass clef?
If I tried real hard, maybe.
I was in a concert band in high school, and I didn't play. I didn't know how to play guitar bass, but I knew how to play like the keyboard bass. So because I
Okay.
took piano lessons. So
Yeah.
it was like a 2 octave, maybe not even a 2 octave, an octave and a half keyboard. Hook it up to an amp, and have it set all the way low to bass, and then it goes boom boom boom, like that.
Nice.
And so yeah,
Better than
I used to play the tuba parts all the time.
okay. Better than like a symphonium or whatever. That one octave of keyboards where you blow with the air through it, and yeah.
So speaking of YouTubers that you like, that subscribe to Prophet of the Dragon, because I actually now am very interested in seeing Five Nights at Freddy's because of his take on it. So, and he's a
Well,
rage baiter. He hates everything. So, but he liked
that's
that.
true.
So
Well,
that's
one of the things I did hear, and hey Prophet, and hey Easton, if you're around, um, I've heard there's a lot of kids that are really interested because all the kids that have grown up with this franchise, and I also heard the rumor that this is the last thing that Scott Cawthorn, or the guy who started it, is going to be directly involved in. I don't know if that has to do with them trying to cancel him a couple years ago, or if he's kind of saying, "I've done this for a decade. I'm okay with getting royalties off of it." I haven't done the research,
is he the
but
creator of Five Nights at Freddy's? So
I
like all the
believe so.
games and all that. Okay.
Yeah, his name popped up. I want to say a couple years ago when people were mad because he was donating money to some conservative orange guy or something like that, and all the kids that loved it got mad.
It's
So
actually
they didn't
Orange
want.
Person. It's Orange
Yeah,
Person, Punkwaddle. I mean, I'm in Chicago. I get
yeah.
triggered if you say anything gendered. Because
Oh,
I'm
right.
kidding. I'm kidding.
Well, we can go out for Subway later. Anyway,
Yeah, there you go.
or in a couple months. It's not cold enough. Yeah.
So I got a question for you. So,
Okay. Yeah.
when did you start your YouTube channel, like officially? I think, was it like this year or was it last year?
It was this year. So, real quick, I will get to that. I just want to go back and say it was, well, actually, yeah. So, I love nonlinear timelines. Memento's a great movie. It's how my brain works.
I saw Memento when I was in film class in high school. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was backwards. Everything was backwards. Like we started
Yes.
from the end and then worked our way all the way back. And I remember the only I mean, obviously, what's his name? Guy Pearce, I think, was the guy. He was
Yeah.
really jacked up, and he had like all these tattoos
Mm-hmm.
to like remember, to help him remember shit.
Yeah.
And Joe Pantoliano was in the movie, and when you see Joe Pantoliano, something's up and
Oh,
everything.
yeah.
So
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I like Joe. He was great in freaking Sopranos. He was great in the original Matrix. And of course he plays. He's one
so
of the
good.
Fratellis and the Goonies and all that. So
what we learned from Matrix in that famous scene is that every thing tastes like chicken because it's easier to program.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Great scene. Great scene.
So
Ignorance is bliss.
yeah, or not like this. Not like this.
Yeah.
I do great reenactments. You can maybe I'll just have to set that up. I could charge a menial fee for like celebrity. Okay, I'm not like those guys on the internet. Anyway, maybe I'll get there. That's my dream.
So I got a question.
But
Oh, go
okay.
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll
Say your
hold
piece. Say
that
your
question
piece.
because I keep digressing and I don't actually answer your questions. Maybe I should go into politics.
Hey, I mean, you're puppet. Puppets can say whatever they want. I mean, we're humans are here. Puppets are like here on the social
Okay.
list. So
As long as it's like a metaphorical scale, because I'm shorter than most humans.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. How tall are you again?
Like 18 inches,
18
17 inches
inches.
with the hair.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you Punkwaddle. Where
Yeah.
did you get the name Punkwaddle? Like, is it
Okay.
because you were always into punk rock? Was it because you just had that attitude? You just like, I'm not gonna take shit. I'm not gonna believe people's bullshit. I'm gonna do my own thing. And I'm gonna find out the truth, and I'm just gonna have a good time.
Yeah. So, all right. I'll backtrack real quick because I haven't finished answering any of your questions yet. So,
all right.
Okay. First off, the transition to puppet came after I had been, like I said, I was modding with you for a little while. Then I was modding with Salty, and then this guy named Floral came around. I saw him through stuff. I think the first thing I saw him was when I think Mexican Iron Man was promoting him on Mead, some of his shorts, his like little animated videos. I thought this guy was pretty funny. So I started hanging out on his channel. Gave me a mod, and then he's like, "Look, come on, be a guest on the show a couple times." He's like, "Look, Punk, I know you're a puppet. You know you're a puppet, but the world doesn't know you're a puppet. So we're gonna show the world that you're not just an avatar, but you're a puppet." So if you actually go back, I want to say a year and a half ago, around April-ish of 2022, we have the music video. It's the it's the puppet side as opposed to like the other side from that Magic movie with that guy who played Wolverine, Hugh Jackman, The Greatest Showman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we did this little cover, rendition, puppet side, where I emerge as a glorious puppet, mohawk hair. So I'd been doing Floral's channel for about a year or so, and then around March, I was thinking, hey, you know, I could do a channel. I don't know. And I think it was one day when I was streaming, and Friday night, I think it was on Foulball's channel. Then I hopped over. I think it was just Foulball. Then the next morning, I was Brandon, the anime guy. We talked about anime for a couple hours. Then there was Abomination AJ's 1 year stream, right? Hopped on there to say hi. And then I did the Cotton Council as per usual. And then Zax was doing his late night jerk stream with
Yeah.
all of them.
Yep.
And Brandon was on there too, talking about anime again. So like, hey, you want to pop on and have the same conversation we did 12 hours ago? I said, yeah. So
speaking of anime,
yeah.
I mean, Brandon, great guy.
Yeah.
Anime. So I remember when you were pretty active on my Discord. You used to. I think. Do you still build Gunpla?
I have not much in the last year, but I still have a huge backlog. Ladies.
Yeah. Have you watched any? Have you even seen Gundam at all?
Oh
in
yeah.
Any
Oh
form?
yeah.
Okay. The UC, or did you see like some of the later stuff like Wing and
Yes.
Seed?
So I think actually the first. Okay. So I want to say it was maybe around 2014 or 15 where the Gundam, the Gunpla models, Gundam, plastic, Gunpla,
Mm-hmm.
that's what they call it, became more prevalent all over like Barnes and Nobles and more mainstream bookstores. I said, those look like fun robots because I'm a dude and I love robots with guns. So I think I first purchased Gunpla in Me? Yes. Thanks for asking.
Honest question from
Yeah.
Prophet of the Dragon.
I don't know why you would think I would have lost them. I don't think I'm a pet, so they don't spay or neuter penguins very often.
Transition. I guess because he said he put down transition, so there you go.
Yeah, so it was more of the medium, like from a 2D to 3D format.
Yeah.
Not so much changing who I am, inherently, intrinsically, infertilely, if that's a word.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. Yeah, so around 2017-18, I decided to start, building a couple models because I had downtime for work. And then I want to say I borrowed some DVDs from a friend. I want to say Seed might have been one of the first ones, which is interesting because people complain about all the whiny characters, but at the same time, they're having their 20th anniversary now, and the actual mecha models are still really, really popular, and some of their higher performing ones. Now,
they're finally making they're finally making that movie that they were supposed to make right after Gundam Seed Destiny.
Yeah, it's like the Eclipse or something, and they have some other stuff coming out with it.
Yeah, so like, what was his name? Fukuda, the guy that ran and wrote Gundam Seed. His wife, actually, no, his wife was the writer. His wife was the writer, but then she got sick. She ended up getting cancer. She's unfortunately no longer with us, and I think that's what held that movie up for like over a decade. So
yeah, that's a lot for real.
Yeah, but everybody hated Seed. Like my buddy, one buddy hated Seed Destiny. Like
Seed and Seed Destiny, they get crapped on now, but the models and the what?
Yeah, I mean, if I remember correctly, Seed Destiny in particular did they reused footage. They reused they reused animation like all the time to the point where it just like they just painted over stuff and they just reused it. And what's funny is fans saw through it right away. So, but yeah, like there eventually I do want to do a Gundam project eventually. So, because it's one of the oldest things ever. One of the things that got me into anime in the first place. But
so I will say I ended up buying the first 3 movies of the first season, series.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't watched the whole thing actually in real time with all the episodes, but I watched the movies. Watched Char's Counterattack. Watched Zeta, at least the new updated version, because every now and then, I think it'll happen around now too. The
new updated version, like the movies, because they came out with movies.
Yeah, the movies, which are okay, but Gundam Info a few times a year will upload older movies or series.
Yeah,
not just the Build Fighter stuff, but some classic stuff that'll be on there for like a month. And if you catch it right, you can catch it, binge it.
Yeah, what's funny is a lot of Gundam stuff is available on YouTube. You can just watch it. Like you can watch an episode. You can watch an episode, any episode of Zeta in particular, on YouTube.
And I need to finish the second half of Witch from Mercury. That's the most current.
I have not watched that. I have not watched that. I am behind. The last Gundam show I watched in its entirety was G Recco or Gundam Recon Gisenji. That was the one that was the most recent one that Tomino himself did.
I still need to watch that. Some of the movies were actually on Gundam in for a little while.
Yeah,
I watched half of them, but then life happened and I missed them before they disappeared.
Yeah,
because buying that stuff and renting that stuff can get expensive quick.
That's true.
I bought Seed. I bought Wing and Endless Waltz, which is great, classic.
Have you seen Gundam Hathaway?
Yes, that's on Netflix too, I believe.
Yeah, it's supposed to be, I think, 3 parts because it's the 3-book story. It's actually Tomino's follow up to Char's Counterattack, and it's like usual Tomino fashion. It is. I'll just say it can be. Well, I don't really want to reveal what happens at the end, but it's typical Tomino, if you know what I mean.
Well, kind of. But the thing, okay, so that's interesting because, and it had some really cool mecha models in there too. But
Yeah,
one of the
it's
big
true.
things is, you know, the whole. I don't know. There's so many different timelines and eras. Like I love the Iron Blooded Orphans, but some people don't. Um,
I forget. I don't even know what that timeline is. So you have
yeah,
Universal Century, which is
yeah,
Gundam, Zeta, Double Zeta,
yeah.
all the major OVAs, Shar's Counterattack, and I think
Mhm.
the latest in that timeline is Victory Gundam. You know,
Okay,
don't stop,
yeah.
carry on, or stand up to the victory.
Speaking of Victory
What's funny?
Gundam,
Yeah, that's a great show.
um, our friend DJ Ronnie G
Yep,
is
he's doing it,
actually, yeah,
building
he's
shit.
building a few of those gunplas right now, the HGs and MGs. I think it's
Yeah,
on Victory 2 right now.
yeah. Victory is considered the darkest Gundam show. Um,
Ooh.
I I think I think it does. I think it is dark, but I don't think. I think Zeta is slightly darker than Victory Gundam.
Right. And they came out at slightly different times, right?
Yeah, Zeta came out in the '80s. Zeta is the second Gundam show ever. So
Yeah.
like after
Right.
Gundam became popular because of the
Uh-huh.
success of the show and the movie trilogy, which kind of
Yeah.
retcons certain things
Yeah.
and character fates. I think
Yeah.
the Zeta show is a sequel to the Gundam films and not the Gundam series, the original Gundam
That makes
films, and not the
sense.
original Gundam series. So at least that's what I think my friend told me. So um, yeah, so Zeta, and he followed it. Usually, Tomino does. He goes from dark to light to dark to light. He switches off. So when he works on a show that's dark, then he does a show that's more comedic and more lighthearted.
You
So
know,
so the reason why Double Zeta is more lighthearted is because Zeta was so dark, and
and
then the
that's
show
that. I was gonna say that's a juxtaposition between that and Evangelion that is just depressing.
Evangelion, I don't know how to describe it. I mean, I guess you could say it's dark.
It's a product of the
It's just
'80s.
weird. It's like
Yeah.
Evangelion's '90s. It's just weird.
Oh
It's just
yeah.
like
Sorry, '90s.
I watched it the first couple times. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? And then
It
not only that, they made an alternate ending. So there was the original ending,
right.
which they ran out of budget, so they decided to do everything. They reused footage and they stayed in
Yeah.
Shinji Ikari's mind and all that. And you're like, what the heck's going on here?
Okay.
And then you see what's going on in the outside world in the end of Evangelion, which is an alternate episode 25 and episode 26. And it's
Mhm.
even more crazy because
Yeah.
you actually seeing what human instrumentality does. People turn to orange juice. That's basically what happens. And then
I
you see
mean,
all this weird effed up imagery. You're just like, what the hell's going on?
Nos gets it. Nosferatu the vampire. Good to see you. But yeah, like, and I know what you mean. Like, it has this melancholy emo feel before melancholy and emo were exactly pinpointed on the map.
Yeah, he
But
was. Hideki Anno was depressed. Like
it,
Evangelion's very, very personal to him. So, like when he worked on the rebuild films, which are
mhm,
his most recent thing,
yeah.
he had to stop after movie 3, and he went to work on Shin Godzilla,
Oh yeah.
postponing movie 4 for like almost a decade.
Yeah.
So,
Uh,
but yeah, like, and the same with Tomino. Tomino just hated. He hated. Like he wanted to write his own stories and all that, and he hated the
mhm.
idea of making shows. Which I mean, let's face it, anime shows are made to sell toys,
Oh yeah.
and so Tomino hated that, and he hated working for Bandai Entertainment.
Okay.
So he made his shows super duper dark, like destruction, characters getting killed because of war and all that. That was,
Mhm.
and adults
Yeah.
being complete pieces of junk, or I'll say crap, shit. Like he kind of makes you think, really, kind of makes you think, wow, he really wants to instill people's how would I say it, appreciation for what we have,
Yeah.
I think, and that's kind of why he shows war, especially war from the viewpoint of an adolescent usually.
I mean, it's very powerful, potent, and it really did change up the whole mecha genre. Really, instead of like monsters and Godzilla and silly fun stuff, it got super serious, super dark. It's like
Real
War in the
robot genre.
Pocket. Yeah.
Oh dude, War in the Pocket, dude.
Like just the mech, and that's only 6 episodes. It's a mini series, right?
It's a potent 6 episodes. Like it's
so much
violence. Like you see
Yes.
blood. Like dude gets shot in the head.
Yeah,
And then
I
can't
was
say
gonna say,
anything.
yeah, spoilers, but like also some of the mecha, the GMs, the Camphor, even the Alex are some still very, very popular and very, very still meaningful for all the Gundam fans and the Gunpla builders because those 6 episodes, like I said, were so potent, so rooted in people's memory, hearts, tugged on their emotions, and so all those designs and that style just permeated through. But also they're really well drawn, and I really, really like them too.
Yeah, the just that whole story, like so the character just tries to do good. He hears a bit of news and he acts on it. And the thing is, the fact is he acted prematurely, and the thing that he was trying to stop never would have happened had he stayed, had he took no action whatsoever. And that's just what makes it tragic. And this is from the viewpoint of a 10-year-old boy in that show. And he watches a video of this guy telling him not to hate the people that that ended him, because that's just the nature of war. You got to go on and continue to live and all that.
Yeah.
The thing is, nobody, and what's even more tragic is nobody except the kid knows that guy is gone. That one pilot's gone. And it's just, I every time I watch that show, I never have a dry eye. Like even when I first saw I've watched Zeta. I've seen UC Gundam. I've never cried at a Gundam show before. I mean, I was like, whoa. There were times where I've gotten almost nauseous because of how many people have died. But but really 0080, dude, like that just takes emotion to a whole new level.
Yeah, I mean, you could watch all of 0083 in the OVA, and you'll be like, these whiny kids in those cool mechs, whatever,
Yeah, everybody hates Ko.
Yeah, for sure. But no, you don't have the heartstring pulls like that 6 episode does.
Yeah,
and like Unicorn, he's just a whiny protagonist. He really annoys me, honestly.
Benager.
Yeah, Benager.
He's supposed to be. He's just. I don't know what he was. 6. I don't know. Yeah, compared to. I mean, I guess that's how most adolescents are. They're whiny and.
It's like, I recognize this place. I'm your father. Wait, is this Star Wars? No, it's Gundam Unicorn.
Yeah, his father just happens to be head of the I forget the name of that, or the VIS Foundation.
Yeah,
the VIS Foundation, and he's supposed to hold this secret document called the that they use to what they use to drive policy, the Laplace's box and all that.
Yeah, Laplace's box. It's like Pandora, but
yeah, except Laplace, you have to mathematical, because if you ever taken I don't know if you've ever taken any advanced math, but in differential equations, for instance, you learn how to calculate, or I don't remember if it was calculate or derive or I forget what you do, but you deal with Laplace transforms and all that. That's it.
I'm a puppet. I can only count to 4.
You're only okay. You only count. So speaking of being puppet, how do you get along with your fellow puppets? How do you feel about I'm sure there's different tiers of puppets. Like there's you, and then you got then you have your Muppets, that get all this love from the Jim Henson Company. Like, does that make you jealous at all? Like, are they like the elite in group that every puppet strives to want to be?
Well, okay, going back to that movie with Jason Segel and Jim Parsons.
Yeah.
Back, I want to say 15, 20 years ago, I think every puppet was like, man, it's like, okay, you know how SNL used to be the end all be all for an improv comedian.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, sure, that's what the puppets was for, or the Muppets were for us puppets, right?
Hmm.
Like if I could just, and you see it on that movie, that one, Jason Segel's little brother, he wants to be a Muppet so badly, so they go out there and lackluster, and it wasn't what he thought. They had to get the gang back together. Weirdly, that happens every movie, right? And but that magic of you know hanging out with other Muppets and being creative and having the variety show. I mean, I want to say there's probably some people would contend that the Muppets have lost some of their magic being under the mouse and all that. And I don't want to get into all the politics of that, but there's a validity in there.
Hmm.
But that's what Floral and I are trying to do with Mrs. Flu. We're trying to make a fun, family friendly, little puppet hour, right? And we have other guests on. We have fleshies or people on Snow's
Is
channel.
that
We
is
call
that
them
is that what
fleshies.
you call people? You call people fleshies? That sounds
Okay, so
almost
that
sounds almost
uh,
offensive.
so that's I apologize. So on Snow Dub's channel, which is a little bit more of the, I would say it's more like the movie The Fuzz, because Happy Time Murders was kind of, it was a little bit too cheesy, phoning it in. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, even Crank Yankers was okay for a while. Some of those comedians that are flopping now started off on that show, and there's still some funny ones that's still around.
Hmm.
But you know, but being a puppet, yeah, I mean, but I think there's something to be said about who's next? Who's the next Muppets, right? Who's gonna take the throne of the Cotton and the Felt Kingdom, right?
Hmm.
So, like I said, that's what we're trying to do. Have some fun. Then
I
there's
got I
no.
got I got a question.
Okay.
Do puppets read at all? Do you guys read anything? Do you guys like
Mhm.
fantasy or science fiction or nonfiction?
Yeah, I mean, now there's Gator. There's puppets like Gator that he can kind of read, and I think I'm a little more uh versed in words or reading than maybe he is most some days. But yeah, I've read Tolkien. I've read other Tolkien. Um, I've read some things.
Ever read any Robert Jordan?
You know what? I kind of expected you to ask that question, and
How did you guess?
uh, well, I think it was talking to Salty when he said, he's so burnt out on the Wheel of Time stuff, he's taking a break.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
Prophet's leading that charge now. So
fair enough.
he's done very good. He's done really good, and he's probably one of the channels I really like to. Every time he posts something, I always listen to. I figured this would be a
Nice.
great place to transition to our favorite YouTubers. So there's two categories here.
Okay.
We're gonna start with YouTubers that we know, that
Okay.
we've talked to, that we've
Yeah.
communicated, done stuff with. So favorite YouTubers in that category, and then favorite YouTubers that we don't know,
Okay.
that either very big channels or people that we've never ever communicated with that we just love to listen to. So figure we start with Punkwaddle. Who's favorite? I know both of us we really enjoy. I listen to whenever I can. When I'm at work. Stone Loki.
Oh yeah. I start my mornings with Loki. I mean, he's in my time zone, which helps, and about the time his show ends is about the time I need to start putting on my shoes for work. So it
Yeah,
really pans out.
you're still in Central Time, right?
Yeah,
Okay, same here.
yeah, the same. I'm just a little more further south in Texas.
I'm further north.
Yeah.
Dipshit from Chicago.
Well, it's really funny? You got all those L's, all the elevated stuff, right? Trains.
Yeah.
and he still got jumped at a Subway.
Who,
That
me?
juicy guy.
Wait, who got
that juicy guy? He got jumped at the Subway.
the juicy? Oh, yeah, that's right. Because
So,
Chicago is a particular country that rhymes with saga.
Yeah. Right. Anyway, what was the real question? Oh yeah, people
YouTubers that we like that we know.
Okay, so yeah, so I'm gonna go down the list. Okay, so like going to, and I know you've been to a couple of conventions too, so that's a big place to start with. All right, for me, going to the Dallas Fan Expo 2 years in a row, that was pretty cool. So first year I got to hang out with Salty, Purple, Snowdub. I finally met him in real life. Hung out with Jolly. Funny enough, I was in the same room with Abomination AJ. And Floral had told me he was thinking we wanted to get him on our stream, that he was a new YouTuber, but I didn't know who he was or hadn't met him yet. So I think we actually talked, and it was weird because he was like, I didn't realize, who you were either, because, well, actually, we might not have talked because he might not have seen me. I might have just talked to me, talking to a crowd, because he was working security for the FNT little meetup, that room, or he was opening the door for people.
And we're in Texas,
in Dallas.
Okay.
They had this. That was like their first panel. It was in a really tiny room.
Yeah,
and it was standing room only. It was really hot and suffocating.
Where'd they have the panel?
Yeah, it was just one of the little side rooms.
Okay.
Like they have thus gotten bigger and bigger rooms because they realize how much attention they draw.
Mm-hmm.
But it was one of the very first ones.
Okay.
So, yeah, and let's see. I got to hang out with some other people there. Oh yeah, I met Max from Max's Cave of.
Oh yeah, I met him. I met him when they had the Vegas. When they had the Vegas thing in 2021. So
yeah.
My channel was just starting. It was like about 4 months old. I was like, you know what, should I go? I was like, yeah, I might as well go. It felt like I was going on a business trip. I was kind of like, the only thing is I didn't have any business cards. I was just telling people, hey, I have a channel, and hey, I'm Chillporeal. So they're like, oh, you're Chillporeal, okay. So,
cool.
But I wasn't even 1,000 subs at that time yet. So, but yeah, like Max, I don't think he had his channel up yet. I think he was just he's like, I'm thinking of starting a channel. I'm like, go for it, dude, go for it.
Yeah, he was on other people's streams. I think he had been hanging out with Salty a little bit by that point.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if he had the man cave, but yeah, he's a really cool guy. I did meet him in the hot dog line. No joke.
Hot dog line? Yeah. Kind of hot. What kind of hot dogs do they have in Texas? Like, what's the?
It was at the con, so it was nothing really fancy. I mean, you could get
probably Chicago style.
Yeah.
Hey, best hot dog, Chicago style. Fight me.
I won't, and I agree, because you get that the salty, the pickle salt, the little bit of pepper,
the celery salt,
and like that little pepper and all the ketchup and. It's delicious.
No ketchup. I did not hear that. I did not hear that. No ketchup. Mustard. It's mustard. It depends on if you there's normal style and there's garden style.
Okay.
So garden style will have tomato and pickle.
Mm-hmm.
The normal style is just mustard, relish, onion, and sport peppers with celery salt.
Is that how they serve it at Portillo's?
Portillos, yeah,
that's what I meant. I've been to there twice.
I get I like to get Portillos. I like, and this is blasphemy. So I'm just as bad. I like to get a Chicago style cheese dog. So you got that everything with the cheese sauce that Portillo's is known for. So
it's delicious.
It is, yeah. But like when it comes to hot dogs, and if I'm gonna spend, because Portillo's just goes up in price all the time. You know what I do if I'm really craving a dog. I live on the north side. I go for a walk. I go to Super Dog, one of the 1,000 places you gotta go to before you die. Super Dog. Go there, get a big dog. You get it with have them put cheese on it, have it let it melt, and it's just delicious.
Sounds really good.
I'm gonna be honest. When it comes to food, Chicago's got a lot of the best selections to go to. Got really good burgers, and of course, the one thing that originated here besides deep dish pizza, Italian beef.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Italian beef
yes.
sandwiches.
And whenever I go to Portillo's, I get a hot dog and Italian beef, and I get it with peppers, and I get it as thoroughly dunked, saturated as I possibly can.
Mm-hmm. So good, so good. So I was going to ask you watch any speakers. I mean, we kind of talked a little bit about YouTubers. You watch any cooking channels?
Not really.
Not even Googa. Not even Googa. Everybody listens to Googa.
No, I don't know.
Googa or I forgot what's the one dude's name? Jeff. Oh, not as Jeffrey Weissman. I watch him. I watch Sam the Cooking Guy.
Sounds nice. Snacks and
Pierre the chef. Hello there, my friends. Pierre the chef. You know, whenever I need help making something or need to learn to make something.
Is that the guy from that show? Nailed It?
I don't know.
He's a chocolatier. But I will say this: a couple honorable mentions. Like, I actually got to meet 32 Flavors of Nick Weiser at Dallas this year.
I met him a couple years ago. I've been on his channel a few times when he did the talk. He still does the Toxic Tuesday.
Yeah.
I was on there for a few cool. times when he did like probably a year ago.
That guy is going to be huge.
Yeah, he's huge. He's huge already.
He's hilarious. And I'll say this: in person, he's just as fun and upbeat and positive.
Yes, he is
on his channel. Like, it's not an act; it's fun. He's really fun to hang out with.
Let's just say Nick Weiser got he had a good time when we went, and let's just say comics division kind of was helping him back to his back to their room in the hotel.
Yeah, I got to hang out with comics too, and Culture Casino.
The hair is real.
Oh yeah,
and good dude. I met Culture. Awesome dude.
Culture's really he works really hard and he does a lot, and he's one of those also super positive guys. Like him and Ords.
I've done stuff with Ords. Yep.
They kind of look alike. They might be related. We are not sure.
Yeah. Ords board.
Well, I was just saying. I'm more joking about all the hair.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay.
And yeah.
I've done Ords board, and I've done stuff with him. We went to a convention in Chicago in the
Didn't you hang out with Darth News too?
Yeah.
That guy that was on that documentary with Johnny Depp and the YouTube social media thing.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He didn't show his so he was wearing the Deadpool mask the whole time, so we didn't get to see his face at all. So,
that's funny.
But yeah. So yeah, and I got to meet. There was a whole bunch. There were quite a few people at the. It was a small little panel, and it was fun. I was on a panel for the first time. It was, So.
Yeah, I think I made sure to watch I don't think I got to see it live because of whatever reasons, but I made sure to watch it later, and it was really cool.
Yeah. So, for me, favorite YouTubers, people that I like, people I talk to, obviously, Wakizashi's Tea House is Gray, Yagenki. He's a favorite, definitely a favorite of mine. He's gonna be. He's subscribed to him. If you haven't subscribed to him, he's gonna be on. He's gonna be on tonight. They're gonna be talking about. They're gonna be talking about Kolchak, the Night Stalker, the 1972 film. I have not seen it. I know of it. I have not seen it, but definitely check that out.
Gray is a classy individual. Sorry.
Gray is extremely classy. He is one. He like when I was doing my Picard after shows. Mm-hmm. Gray was the bright center of the universe.
Yeah.
In that regard, and like me, Prophet was. I was kind of hopeful that we were going to get a good show because everybody said Picard season 3 is going to be good. Picard season 3 is going to be good,
Yeah.
And I'm watching it. Me and Steve are watching it, and Steve's not a Star Trek fan, but he's a
Yeah.
big TV guy. He's seen a lot more shows than I have. He knows what to look for and what's a good show. And
Yeah.
Picard season 3 was not a good show. People liked it because there was fan service in it.
Well,
There was fan service, and they undid a few things that earlier stuff did that they felt was more positive. But the story was just awful. Like it's just like for a Star Trek show, the story was unworthy of being called a Star Trek show. It just you know when it's bad, bad writing when they have to employ the mystery box format to a show. Star Trek has never been a mystery box. I mean, there's been flash forwards where they'd start an episode, flash forward, and you're like, okay, how do they get to this point and all that? But that was done like in some of the lesser shows like Voyager. But even then, Voyager is still way more compelling than just having this 10 episode, directly connected mystery. I mean, just like stop with the mystery, just tell the story, bring the characters in, and have a conflict, and send them off.
I mean, after Voyager hit its stride in the second or third season, it really had staying power. It was what it was. It wasn't Jean-Luc Picard, but she was probably. I mean, Janeway was probably the most girl boss, if you will, but just a solid character, right?
Yeah, I mean, some people will criticize, say she was inconsistent. Like there were times where she'd be super duper strict, and there'd be times where she'd be like, "Screw this" and all that. So
right.
So like so there's a lot of the criticism against Voyager is valid in my opinion. I like it because of nostalgia, and I mean even the TNG light aspect, I'm okay with them repurposing Star Trek. Don't repurpose other franchises like Star Wars, for instance.
No.
Like literally the end of Picard season 3 was the Enterprise D, literally the Enterprise D from Next Generation, this big ship that has a 1,000 personnel crew, flew into this big giant Borg cube like it was like the Millennium Falcon. They go in, they get to the center of the Borg cube, they destroy it, and then they fly out like the Millennium Falcon. And as the Borg cube blows up in the background, does that sound familiar?
So they were doing the Kessel Run in how many parsecs?
10, because that's how many episodes there were.
Fair enough.
So, but so another great channel. This guy right here, member DJ Ronnie G, loves to talk about, loves to build Victory Gundam, Gunpla. He loves to talk space. He loves to. He has a telescope. He looks up at the stars all the time.
There's a rumors going around that he's moonlighting his puppets too lately.
Yeah, I heard he's starting to transition himself. Like, is it a painful transition, or is it like an upgrade? I'm
not really sure the process he's going through. I didn't go through that one, so yeah.
So, what other content creators that you really like, that you watch regularly?
Well,
anybody in the chat?
I mean, there's Brandon, the anime guy, that I haven't met in person, but I hang out with a lot.
Brandon, I love talking anime with Brandon. Yeah. Told him a lot of shows. He's told me quite a bit about shows. I'm more into older shows, obviously. And you see right up there, I got a nice big collection of anime Blu-ray. You can't tell that big one right there where my finger's at. That's Yu Yu Hakusho.
Nice. That's on Tubi right now, I think. A few other places.
It was on Hulu. I watched it on Hulu like last year. So, cool. Yeah. So Brandon, I love watching his shows. He has a lot of people. He's had some big names come on his show. I have to say, like, I probably would have won, maybe at some point, and maybe I'll invite bigger channels eventually. Yeah. But right now, I'm not really interested. Right now, I just want to build. I really want to build relationships with, on this side of the sphere.
Well, I mean, if you have an organic friendship with a channel or people in the channel, then hanging out is normal. If it feels like you're just clout chasing or going after it, hey, get on my channel because I want to get those views, it kind of feels like you're trying to ride somebody's coattails, and as somebody who always wears a tuxedo, I don't want people grabbing on my coattails. You know, if I ever get big enough that anybody would want to do that.
Well, I have a confession, Punkwaddle.
Yeah.
I invited you here I need the clout. Like I need the clout from the penguin himself.
You need some puppet street cred.
I need some puppet street cred. I need that clout. That's why that's why I invited you on this show. I invited I wanted you to bring your entire audience with you. We got an entire audience of 5 here.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for being here, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. You guys are great. I mean, maybe that's why I had you on for my second hot takes with the Ice House. If you guys want to go check on my backlog on my channel, that was a fun conversation where we actually did talk. You had just finished going through Star Trek Picard season 3 at that time, and you were really fired up about it. And that's on the internet, so
yeah.
I think I ended up cutting a couple things that were a little derivative, but I tried to keep your main points in there to try to keep it in that 30-minute mark. But,
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like did I yeah, like anything toxic, you know, I'm sure.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, Mags was my first one. She's Toxic Man Flu is her internet father, so we keep it toxic around here.
I got to meet. So I don't know if I told you. I got to meet some of these. Not only have I hung out like on YouTube and all that. I got to meet some people on our side of the things in person without going to like, you know, conventions or anything like that. So I met Prophet of the Dragon. I met Mags. Me and Prophet actually met up with her. We went axe throwing. We went we went mini golfing, and then we went to a pub. Nice. Because, you know, we went to a pub and I had the most delicious thing. I had this bar had this appetizer called Reuben egg rolls, and those Reuben egg rolls they were so good. If I ever go back, I want to get those again.
I love German food, beer. I mean, I like the German food. Punkwaddle likes the German beard.
I was going to ask you, how are there? Is Punkwaddle is your cousin, right?
Yeah, he's a distant relative that is definitely not me.
Yeah, like people like keep calling me, like there are points where people keep calling me Punkwaddle, and I'm like Punkwaddle is just Punkwaddle's like Bigfoot. It's a myth. Like me and Punkwaddle are like two ships sailing in the night. Like that will never ever cross ways. It's never a thing. Punkwaddle's a myth. It's a myth.
Well,
the art of the gaslight is strong with me.
Okay. I mean, I'm willing to admit that Punkwaddle is real because he's been on the stream and channels. And he has his own channel. Going back to Mags now. Mags on her first live stream last year, whatever. You know, she was like, "Oh, people hanging out. Oh, you know, Punkwaddle, you're one of the people who mods and stuff. Oh, if you don't want the mod, just take it. It's fine." And then Punkwaddle showed up. Punkwaddle was like, "Hey, can I be a mod?" She's like, "Am I gonna regret this?" I was like, "Nah." He's like, "Oh, I'll be good." Burp. She's like, "Okay." So, Punkwaddle on his own channel is an official mod on Mag's channel, so he is a legit YouTuber.
Yeah. What about Punkwaddle? What happened to Punkwaddle?
He's around. He just has not made his internet debut.
Pardon me. Excuse me.
That's right.
That was a cough. Didn't want to cough on camera. So,
okay.
Okay. So Punkwaddle and Punkwaddle. So as long as they're doing good, I'm cool with that. So, do they have puppet forms yet?
Punkwaddle does.
How does Punkwaddle have, like, you know, like red cheeks or something?
No, he has he's Canadian, and so he has one of those Canadian hats. It's red and black checkered. It's one of those ones that goes over your ears and flops and hang down like Johnny Knoxville wore in some of those movies he was in.
So does Drunk Waddle go to Tim Hortons regularly after a long night of drinking?
Unfortunately, he doesn't have the Waffle House, so he has to go to that bland, terrible place. I mean, I don't know.
What about does Drunk Waddle? So if you say Drunk Waddle's Canadian, is like poutine like his favorite food ever? Like if you say anything bad about poutine, yeah, he'll just go up to you and barf on you.
Well, depends on how much he had to drink if he'll actually barf. But yeah, he likes that. I mean, he likes that gravy and cheese curd stuff. He knows what that's all about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Great, yeah, that's just oh my gosh, I can never, I cannot get used to that. I don't know. It just I tried it once. I was like, I don't get the appeal. So,
Yeah,
but that's just me.
I've tried it a couple times. It wasn't bad. I had some nice variations on it, but
I don't know.
yeah, it's not very well.
Gravy and cheese just don't mix for me. And fries, it's just I don't know. I don't know. So my okay, so if what about Funkwaddle? Like would Funkwaddle wear like 70s clothes or something like bell bottom pants and
if penguins
we're like something John Travolta would wear from like
I mean, he might be a rhinestone cowboy. That's possible.
Or platform. Funkwaddle has to wear at least platform shoes.
Yeah, he really did like those butterfly collars back in the 70s.
Yeah. And of course, favorite music of all time, Parliament.
Yeah, and obviously Funkadelic, depending on the area.
That's true.
And being that we're all into the grooveness, and like I was a bass player, so Bootsy Collins has a special place in the Waddle household.
Funk has some of the sickest bass lines I've ever heard. Like
yeah.
You don't truly know funk until you hear a really insane bass line.
You feel it, and then you hear it. Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
My dad had a CD called Pure Funk, and I used to listen to that album. That was I think it was like a late '90s, early 2000s album. So there was Pure Disco, but there was also Pure Funk. Yeah. So Pure Funk had Kung Fu Fighting was one of the tracks. Forget Me Not, the song that the Men in Black stole or sampled.
Here come the Men in Black.
Protectors of the universe. Sydney, forget me not. I want you to remember. Okay, sorry, I'm gonna get copyrighted for singing that.
As long as we sing really off key, they won't care.
That's true. Okay, that's true. So
yeah, I mean, it's really just the algorithm going note for note, and so I've heard that if you want to do a cover of something, and if you do an acapella or something, kind of change up the rhythm a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe change the key a little bit.
Yeah,
it won't get caught.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
I've heard
stories. I do like to hum tunes on my streams because music's still a big part of me. Like part of like my editing. I like if I want to incur a mood or something, I will know what or tone, a particular tone or something. I will know what type of music to use. So if I want something to be epic, I'll make it sound epic. If I want something to be dark, I'll make it dark or I'll make it scary or something. So
the soundtracks are really kind of how so many movies used to be made, right?
Yeah.
The music drives the moment. Otherwise, it's really fun when someone takes an old scene and then adds a completely different music tone to it.
Mm-hmm.
And it can go from horror to comedy, especially if it's cheesy acting.
Yeah.
It's incredible how just a little, not even changing the scene or anything the actors did, just adding different music and sound effects, completely.
Yep.
tells a different story.
Yeah. I mean, if you've ever seen John Carpenter's Halloween, if you don't have the music, it comes off as comical.
Yeah.
But when you add the music, you add the sounds, totally different thing. Totally different thing. And that's what made the movie. That's what really truly set the tone for the movie and all that. So,
and on a side note, YouTubers that are fun that I've streamed with but never met in person, but really fun to hang out with. Point in case, Ironcaster over there. Good to see you in the chat. He also knows a few puppets, and then Charlie B is well, we think that there's talk that he used to be just a tall dude, but then he was test trying some of Culture Casino's hair care products, and he kind of turned into a Sasquatch.
Oh no!
Those are rumors. I'll let Charlie B tell his own story, but yeah.
What about YouTubers that you don't know, that you watch regularly, that you admire? You watch them for whether entertainment or educational purposes.
So one of the Gundam guys I watch is that Kakarot something or other numbers. So he actually he at least does 2 videos a week, right?
Okay.
One is going to be Gundam news. That I think that comes out between Thursday or Friday. I forget where in Europe he is, but it kind of tells what's up on the docket for releases of not just Gunpla kits, but like Gundam Online stuff, or talked about the new Gundam World Builders thing. There's a metaverse game thing that scans Gunpla that actually is, do it.
Mm-hmm.
They do a mapping and they kind of work out the hard points so that the joints, so the arms actually look like they're bending correctly. And there's only so much that they have so far because they don't have all the unique weapons for them.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's actually a new Gundam series in the Gunpla verse of the Build Fighter type stuff. It's a metaverse, a show that's kind of promoting what they're doing in real life. The kind of Inception meta with kids building Gunpla and playing with them online.
Yeah.
So he and then he also does something you might appreciate too, but he does kind of like how you do those retrospectives and pretty historical things. He'll go through like development history of a Gundam, or he'll talk about the Titans, and he'll kind of go back and talk about how this evolved through different, maybe UC timeline and such. It's really fun. And
what's his channel again called?
Now I gotta figure it out. It's
you said Kakarot.
It's Kakarot 429 or no? It's a number. Let me see.
So there's a lot of Kakarot. I'm looking right now. There's a lot of Kakarot channels.
Okay. It's Kakarot, Kakarot 197.
Kakarot 197.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
yeah.
All right.
So he does a gun. He talks about the regular releases, the premium Bandai releases, and then if there's like the little Gumball stuff and the little not just the major Gunpla, but if there's like a Converge series coming out, like the little 2-inch figures, or maybe some of the G-frame stuff. He kind of goes over all of it. It's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's got a lot of videos. Holy crap!
Ironcaster knows.
Yeah. Wow, Kakarot's got a lot of stuff here. That's pretty cool.
He's been doing it for a long time.
All right, I am going to hit. All right, I subscribe to Kakarot 197. All right, cool.
So you'll get a lot of cool. You can sift through his stuff, and sometimes he'll do model reviews, but he does a lot of history and a lot of deep dive stuff. So.
Yeah, I'm always up for stuff like that. Obviously, there's a few channels I like that I want to bring up. That I want to shout out. You ever hear of the Vile Eye?
No.
The Vile Eye is basically a channel that basically goes into depth about villains or different villains from different shows, and a lot of times people like he goes in like into detail. So like he has done like he he has done like Understanding. I think it's called the series is called Understanding Evil, or I forget if it's Understanding Evil or something. And he's covered one of his longest videos was about Hans Landa from Inglourious Basterds. That's the one. That's the Nazi, the Jew hunter that was played by Christoph Waltz. That's a great video. And of course, he's covered villains from video games. He's covered villains from anime. He's covered villains from shows like Analyzing Evil, Walter White Analyzing Evil, Saul Goodman Analyzing Evil, Johann Liebert from Monster. One character he hasn't done yet that I would be interested to hear his take on, Understanding Evil, Shar Aznavour.
Ooh, yeah. Shar is a very complex character.
He is.
And for all the Shar clones that you get that are slightly different, that basically have the same principles, but they live in a different world, even though, the Red Comet, or, the Second Coming of Shar in Unicorn isn't quite Shar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of he's done a lot of videos since, like, he's covered he's also covered Light Yagami. If you ever watched Death Note.
I've heard of it.
Okay, you've heard of it. That's good enough.
Well, I mean, so, I watched a couple episodes. It's one of those that I haven't really got into.
Yeah. Enough. So Vile Eye's one channel I really like, and then there's another channel. He still has his content up, but he hasn't been making stuff because he's disappointed with YouTube, and he's not even in our sphere. He's much older channel. He's been big for a while. This guy's his channel is known as Collative Learning, and he talks about like classic films and does like a deep analysis. Like he does analysis of different. He basically puts together. He talks about themes that may be apparent in a movie, like for instance, abuse being a theme in The Exorcist, for example, or brainwashing being a theme in Full Metal Jacket. Like he talks about a lot of older films and all that, and he talks about like he goes through videos. So he talks about particular shots, like why are these things in the shot? Like what's the reason for that? And I find it very interesting because I mean Kubrick has been known to do that. Like Kubrick doesn't explain like why he does things, but everything is meticulously placed in a shot for a reason. So I don't know. I find that stuff interesting. But yeah, but he's even done video game stuff. Like he's covered Alien Isolation and all that. That's a great game, Alien Isolation. So cool. But yeah, that's another channel I like to listen to regularly. Channels that I know that I've gotten to know recently that I've actually done stuff with. Golden Age Geek is a channel. He covers news and everything. He's a bloke he's a young bloke from the UK. Definitely great guy. Done stuff with him. He's started watching Star Trek, so we've been talking his journey into the Star Trek franchise. I think he's still in like the last couple seasons of TNG right now. So can't wait to see what he thinks of that show. And then when he gets into Deep Space Nine, it's gonna be awesome. But yeah. So next thing I'm doing actually for Serial Horror is he actually saw Halloween for the first time, the original 1978 Halloween. So, and I love that movie. It's my favorite horror movie of all time. So we're gonna do Serial Horror tomorrow, just talking about that. So, but yeah,
I remember the retrospects you did earlier when the most recent Halloween came out a year or two ago, and you kind of talked to the whole franchise.
Yeah. Cool. And then I think last year they came out with Halloween Ends. Killed everything. I hated that movie. Yeah. Like why make a movie that's so disconnected from everything else? But yeah, so definitely DJ Ryan G, if you're still here, if you're still here, someone who's a mod, put these links in. The Golden Age Geek, definitely get the Golden Age Geek, put him in there, subscribe to him. Great guy. Another channel I've recently started doing stuff with, and I've also been listening to him for news. He talks a lot about Marvel, and today I was listening to his video about apparently the author of Percy Jackson blames fans because they're doing another Percy Jackson thing, and they're doing the usual swapperino that they do because the new Percy Jackson show is for Disney Plus. So, of course, the author says it's his idea, not Disney's idea, which I call complete total baloney on that. So,
toe the party lines.
so the his channel is he's known as Dread Roberts.
Okay.
Dread Roberts, another guy I listen to. He's got I like his takes. He's a good guy. I did a serial horror with him, and I'd love to collaborate further. So I've been listening to him and the Golden Age Geek for my nerd news lately. I haven't listened to a lot. I haven't listened to the bigger channels lately myself. Just been wanting to focus more on giving more time to younger, or not younger, but smaller channels.
I'll say a couple of the channels that. Okay, so one of the channels I followed and kept up with pretty frequently is Clownfish. Clownfish News. They not even before it was Clownfish was right, Clownfish TV, because the whole Kevin Smith, and basically they said, hey, we heard that he's gonna kill He-Man, and Kevin Smith was like, no, y'all wrong, and it's like, we were right. And it's like, I'm still not going to apologize. You guys are blah, blah, blah. You're the bad fans. And it's like, they're just trying to be there and talk about what's going on. Mm-hmm. And connected to that is one of the channels that, because of Floral, and Under a Rock, kind of took us under their wing a little bit, or kind of helped us out a little bit, helped us grow, is the WDW Pro channel. He talks a lot about Disney. He's connected with that parkplace.com, and that Park Place that just came up. So, you'll see Culture, and J. Jonah Jameis, or not quite, that's not his actual name, but Jonas over there, and some of the other guys that have been on our channel over on Floral's channel, kind of because the connected back and forth. And they were really, I mean, even Valiant Renegades connected with them. So some of that whole sphere that I would love to hang out with those guys and meet them in person, but it's really fun to see what they have to say in there. Instead of, like you said, the big channels that are...
Isn't Clownfish is a big channel? Because I actually watched... I used to watch them too, a long time ago.
They are. But, like, Valiant's grown a lot, but, Mexican Iron Man and all those guys, that basically they talk about that financial. They don't talk about the opinions and why it's necessarily woke or why it's bad, or, not necessarily always the comic book or entertainment value. It's also like the money, the hard facts of, all right, if you keep making this movie and doing this, how much in debt are you going to get? Because clearly you can't pay for what you're doing.
Unless, unless that sweet investment money just keeps coming in from that one.
Right. And with the way things are going, kind of looks like that's not, when Disney stock drops and all that jazz. But, like, it's fun to hear those sides of things, as opposed to the people who are just mad, like, you changed my character, I don't like it. And I agree with those guys, too.
Yeah.
But I can only hear somebody talk... Okay. I'll say this real quick. It's like when I was in college, my roommate had ESPN on all day long, right? Every hour on the hour, a new channel would talk about the same two things that happened in sports the day before. Because not much happened in sports the day before. It's all professional sports, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I heard about the same thing from 20 different people, and I could care less. Right? Some of it's, okay, it's true, that's shocking. Okay, that happened. Cool, let's move on. I get why there's some people that just are kind of tired of it.
I know. I was in the same boat. Like I was never big into sports, but my roommate used to have, like you said, he always had ESPN. Those same two guys were always on 5 p.m. Always talking, their things and all that. And it just gets crazy to a point. But a few other people I want to shout out really quickly before we close the stream. Obviously, been reading The Wheel of Time. So if you like The Wheel of Time, definitely check out the White Cloaks. They are very critical of the current Amazon show, which calls itself The Wheel of Time, but has nothing in common with those books. And even though the books aren't my favorite read of all time, things actually happen in these books, things that they can adapt into something awesome. And there's a lot of awesome moments in the Wheel of Time. Like,
Yeah.
it's really good. There's just this point where it's tough to read. It gets tough to read at points. So,
I mean,
and I'm kind of going through some of that right now. So, but yeah, so the White Cloaks, the Pips, Alex and Dane and Trip and Gadfly and all those guys who are hang out in the band of the Red Hand.
I have not seen Trip in a while in the chats.
She was on my stream, or she was
Awesome.
in my chat yesterday. We were talking Carrie, so yeah, she came by. But yeah, but definitely look them up. They've been putting out killer content, and along with Prophet of the Dragon, they've been killing it with straight, like they get at least 50 to 60 people viewing their streams all the time. So
nice.
Awesome. So definitely check them out. Man of Manethrin, Nathan,
Oh, yeah.
another awesome guy. He's just he has really great takes. He's a great person to have a conversation with, and like especially when it comes to fantasy, talking about fantasy, Lord of the Rings, Wheel of Time. Like his takes are like second to none. And so definitely Man of Manethrin. Look him up, subscribe to him. Awesome channel. And of course, Prophet and Salty and all those guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, I figure I'd chill for them, and I'd chill for Technically Mexican. Technically Mexican just did an awesome video of he was basically rebuttaling another big book YouTuber named Daniel Green, who turned out to be a typical guy that just likes to alienate particular portion of your fans that are a little more on the conservative side, I'll say. So he had the perfect rebuttal for him, and it's a shame. It's like it's just like gotta select your heroes better, I guess. I don't know, or don't meet your heroes.
It's difficult. I mean, that goes both ways. Of a creative mind that uses experience in life and understanding in a way to share a story, and then you think the person behind the story because you fall in love with the characters. Well, that could be any different reasons of an outlet of how they were able to explain that character and create something.
Yeah.
Yet they might identify with the character you least enjoy, or you don't like that character, but you like how they play in this in the story, and maybe like that was their closest to a self insert or how they related to the story. Because everybody has their own facets of themselves deeply enriched in all their stuff. So, like you said, you don't know the person behind it. Sometimes it's almost better not to know, because then you start discrediting some beautiful work of art because you don't like the person, which is silly.
Yeah, separating the art from the artist. I mean, best example in my opinion, Roman Polanski.
Okay.
I mean, like, I love his movie The Pianist, and he made that in 2002, like 25 years after the fact of what he did that led him to never come back to the US. So but yeah, so yeah, it's just that's how it is. And we kind of have each other now, and I'm hoping to build further relationships from this. Well, not from the negativity, but just to build I want to build more relationships in general. That's part of the reason why I do these Chillporeals, but these Chillporeals are mainly for members. So starting off, but once I exhaust all the members, maybe I'll bring them on for part 2 or something.
Ooh.
But I do eventually want to reach out to channels outside of this and just begin a conversation like that. So, or maybe the clout chasing. I need all the clout I can get, right? So
that's fair.
But so Punkwaddle, it's well past time, so we have to get you to Snowdub. So have any final thoughts? Anything you want to plug?
Well, I will say this to answer your question from the beginning of the stream, that it was Zach's on that 24 hours of streaming so much, and in the back room was like, hey dude, why don't you start a channel? I was like, I don't know. He's like, but really, you put all this effort into it, just doing something small, even if you don't do a lot, but just have it there so that you can build a following, and then you never know how all this puppet stuff goes. Like, then if you live stream or do something, you already have that established base. I said, that makes sense. So I've been doing my, Ice House videos, and now I'm doing some Punk Law little shorts. So, but it was kind of like I debuted on April 1st, and it was the joke was, is this an April Fool's joke, or do I actually have a channel? So far, I have a channel.
There you go.
Yeah, and yeah, you can find me hanging out in chats all over the place. I know I don't hang out here as much as often because of overlapping times and all that, but you never forget the people you started up with, and it's fun to see the success of you and Salty and Prophet and all these people. Yeah,
Punkwaddle. I mean, I'm using you for clout right now. You're my guy.
yeah, and
Yeah.
but you can always catch me on my channel Punkwaddle online at Punkwaddle. I try to get that on most social media platforms that matter, and I was always over there co-hosting with Floral and Mrs. Flu on Floral from Under Rock, and then we have started on Fridays on Snow Channel, Fajita Fridays with Punk and Rudolph Dickies. And then Saturday night is the R-rated puppet show. So put those kids to bed and come join us on the Cotton Council sometimes.
All right.
Yeah.
Once again, Punkwaddle, thanks. It was an awesome stream. Thanks for doing this with me. And everybody, just come by tomorrow early afternoon, because our friend the Golden Age Geek is in the UK 6 hours ahead of us. So we're gonna be talking Halloween tomorrow, and then Monday will be the next Chillporeal. And you know what? I think we might have a preview of who is going to be the next Chillporeal. Let's take a look, everybody. Everybody, have a good night.